What's up? I hope you're all well. I'm going to take you through how I train for chest and triceps. I'm going to take you through the exact setup that I would take through my own training. I have trained for over 15 years, but I'd say the last 10 years I have really took it up a level. And I want to take you back and tell you a little story. I landed in Australia in 2012 with my best friend Matt. We were backpacking in Australia. I was a personal trainer at the time, but I wasn't a experienced one. I'd worked with people in their training plans in a very basic level. I'd not really taken my own shape to a new level as well. Even though I had a degree in sports coaching, performance, and nutrition, I felt that my shape was not where I wanted it to be. I didn't feel like I had the muscle mass that I wanted. My shape and overall symmetry of my physique I didn't feel it was where I wanted it to be. So I travelled to Australia and I was wanting to possibly get a job there, actually as a personal trainer. And I got off the boat. We started backpacking. We were staying in hostels at the time. Really great experience. It was in Backpackers HQ in Sydney, Australia. If you're ever there, definitely check it out. It's a great hostel. Bit pricey, but definitely worth it. But I started working at Clean Health. Bit of a story in this as well. Clean Health were a reputable company, massive company in Australia, huge body transformation specialists. All their coaches and personal trainers were well established, were in incredible shape, totally dominating the scene. When I turned up, I was just an average trainer, I suppose, if you could call me that. I didn't really have any experience personal training people, but I'd worked in coaching. I'd worked with some athletes when I was at uni. I'd worked with some MMA fighters. So for me, I wanted to take the next level with my shape, but also how to personal train other people and get the most out of them. That was really what I wanted to, where to focus my attention and really focus on how to get someone from point A to point B and in phenomenal shape, but then also learn how to do it myself. So I was looking for the mentoring, the coaching from other personal trainers that would personal train me, coach me, mentor me, and take me to a level that I've never ever seen before. So back in Australia, I'd got a job at personal training at Clean Health. I went to see the head personal trainer, Rawdon. He interviewed me and he said, "Look, you've got no experience in personal training, but you could be a potential for our gym because you seem determined, but also you're British as well." So we like British people. We feel that they work hard, they push people. Australians are a bit more relaxed and laid back, whereas British people a bit more hands-on, a bit more just, yeah, rah, let's go, let's push you. So they like that about me. I was quite raw, but eager and a sense of willingness to learn and develop my own self and skills. So I got the job. Out of hundreds of candidates, I exceeded my expectations, which I didn't expect to get the job. I had applied for a few other jobs at the time, and this was just one of them. And one of the questions actually in the interview, it stuck with me actually till today. He said, Rawdon said, "You do you know who we are?" And I said, "No, I don't. I just saw your job on one of the job sites, and I applied for it." So that's what I did. I said, "I don't know who you are. The gym looks good though." He said, "Well, we're one of the biggest body transformation specialist companies in the whole of the world, actually. Particularly Australia, we're probably dominating the scene." So I took one look at it and I was just like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were so big." But he said, "Yeah, we're huge." So I then, just went with it and I got the job. So that's the story about Clean Health, how I sort of landed my personal sort of training experience. Even though I've accrued now to this day over 13 years experience now, that's where it all started for me. But anyhow, I want to take you back to a chest and triceps workout that I do myself, and I want to take you through a workout from literally start to finish, because I think it's really important to understand the complete ins and outs of a workout. Most people these days online are just, even myself, posting videos, posting technique videos, but not really explaining why you do certain exercises, what's the particular order you should go in, why you're doing that exercise versus that one first, why do you do that one last. So I want to break everything down for you. This is for anyone that wants to build muscle, for sure. Just like me when I first started. I'm probably about 5 to 7 kilos heavier than when I was probably about 10 years ago in terms of muscle mass. And my body fat level is leaner than I was as well. So I've gained quite a bit of muscle over the past 10 years. And this is, and what I'm going to break down with you is how I gained that muscle and how I was taught how to properly train. Because there's training and then there's properly knowing how to train. And you see so many different people training on the internet these days. Some are absolutely butchering chest and tricep exercises. And some are absolutely killing, their exercises and doing really well. And they've probably been taught how to properly perform the movements, go through the workout and actually properly perform, how to structure the workouts and organize their workouts. Because you can't just take an exercise from the internet and just copy it. You have to understand the reasons why you're doing the exercise, what is the specific reasons behind it, is it suitable for you, is it based off your level, are you want to perform this exercise now, or should you do it later on in your fitness journey or career, etc. If you're a personal trainer, if you're someone who's wanting to get into fitness, or who's a beginner or an advanced person, it depends on what level you are. It doesn't matter what level you are, this video's for you, and it will help you learn something about how to properly set up for a chest and triceps training session. Now, the first key we want to think about is, what is the goal? So do we want to build strength, maximal strength? Do we want to get really strong? Okay, or do we want to build lean muscle mass? Do we want to lose weight? Okay, now we've got to understand our goal, because how you set up a chest and tricep workout for strength work might be slightly different to muscle building, and it might be slightly different to fitness work. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I'm going to explain how to set up for a muscle building session. If your goal is simply to pack on muscle mass, like my goal was, and I'm still focusing on building muscle as well. I haven't finished yet, so I'm still packing on muscle, I'm still pushing myself, and I'm still feeling like I'm making gains, and that's still part of my goal as well, and goals. One of my fitness goals is to pack on muscle mass. And if that's one of your goals as well, keep watching. I'm going to break everything down for you, how to build muscle on chest and triceps workout. Now, as you can see, a few of these photos that I'm sharing now are from me, from my me and my photo shoots that I've done over the years. I've done many photo shoots, and one of my standout probably for shoots was with I'd say Aaron Dunworth. He's a great photographer. You should definitely check him out. But I like the fact that my chest looks really chiseled on this one, and I just feel like it's years of hard work to be able to get to this photo shoot condition. So once we've worked out our goal, we need to make sure our reps for strength, for muscle building, are between 8 and 12. Okay, we don't want any lower than that, we don't want any higher than that, 8 and 12. So once you've got your reps, you then need to input your exercises. We're going to start off with a barbell bench press from the flat. Now, the reason for barbell bench press is it's the fundamental exercise for building chest growth, for sure. It's got to be number one, hasn't it? If you do barbell bench pressing, you'll know how it really makes your chest blow up. You feel a stretch, you feel the load, you can really use your chest properly and how it should be used. You can really grab the bar and drive the weight off your chest, and you can really feel like it's a great exercise for you, because it's one of the best out there. So we'll definitely start with a flat barbell bench press. The reason we start with flat is we want the line of force, which is all the load, coming right directly into the chest, and that's probably the best angle to really get the lower part of the chest. Okay, because we're going to break the exercise down into muscle group segments. So flat, we're going to be really focusing on the lower part of the chest. So flat and decline is the lower part of the chest. And as the bench goes up to 45 to 70 degrees, we're going to be focused on the upper part of the chest, towards the upper clavicle here. All right. So the chest is quite a big muscle group. It's one of the biggest within the body. So we have to work it from all different angles, and we have to basically just categorize it of upper and lower. That's probably the best way to really hit all angles of the chest, to really target all the muscle fibers. Okay. Now, one thing about barbell bench pressing is you can lift the most amount of load through a given range, okay, versus using a dumbbell or a cable. You can pack a lot of weight on a barbell versus you couldn't pack that amount of weight on a dumbbell. Try and lift, I can lift 110 kg. I probably couldn't do that from a dumbbell press. I can lift 50s, but again, that's really it's a real test, to be fair. So barbell bench press, definitely what we're going to start on. It's one of the best out there. The reason we do it right at the beginning as well is because we want to make sure, and this is huge, guys. Right at the beginning of your session should be focused on exercises that increase your maximum performance. Okay, and as the session progresses, you can get exercises in the back of the workout, which are known as sort of your single joint movements like extensions or flies, or tricep exercises, where it's a byproduct of, we've just worked our chest above triceps in our bench press, and now we're going to fatigue and work the triceps a bit harder on extensions, etc., on the back end of our workouts. So we want to make sure that right at the beginning we're utilizing compound movements to create maximum force, okay, lifting a heavy weight from A to B through creating tension, stimulating muscle fibers, recruitment, okay, through the central nervous system from the brain through to down the spinal cord to the muscles, telling the muscles to lift that weight. Okay, so that's muscle group activation and spinal cord activation through neurons that go down the spinal cord, activate the muscle group to lift the weight. Okay, so more of an experienced person will have a better sensory mechanism from the brain to the muscles, and will have a better what's called mind-muscle connection. You may have heard of that. I'll probably explain a little bit more about that in other videos. But the mind-muscle connection will essentially allow you to lift the weight. Okay, and as you perform the exercise week in, week out, you will get a better mind-muscle connection. You'll get more skilled, and you'll lift heavier weights as you progress. So that's why it's so important to not start with a heavy weight at the beginning. Start off with if you just started training, start off with a warm-up set. Make sure you're just working on form. Always about form to start off with, and then add more weight as you go along. Okay, so with the barbell bench press, we're going to keep the reps between 8 and 12, possibly towards the 8 reps. I'd say stay in the 8 reps. But if you just started out, you're probably going to aim for about 12. The reason is 12 reps gives you more room for error. Put it that way. Okay, more room for mistakes. Because as you're going through the set, you may speed it up, you may go too quick, you may lift too heavy, you may get the form wrong, you may get the range wrong, so you've got more reps to play with. All right, and when you first started out as well, the other benefit of going slightly lighter is you can just focus on the technique as well. Okay, so when you first started out, you're going to keep the rep probably about 12, and you're then going to decrease the reps as you get stronger. Or if you're a person that's been training a while, you could probably start around that 8 rep max, and you probably wouldn't need to go maybe above 8. Maybe you can maximum go to 10, but you probably wouldn't go to anything above that, unless it's the back end of the session. You're doing 12 on a fly or triceps, etc. But for the bench press, let's say you're someone who just started out, you're probably going to stay with about the 12 reps. Okay, you got more room for error, and you can keep the weight quite light and make mistakes and reduce the risk of injury as well, because that's important, guys. You don't want to injure yourself on a bench press. I've seen too many people damage their shoulders, their shoulder joint, and just overall damage their shoulder and get surgery through poor bench pressing form. Okay, now I will put a video on how to properly bench press, so stay tuned for that, or check out my videos. It may be on soon. Okay, I'll show you how to properly bench press. So we're going to start off the bench press. We're going to do 3 sets of 8 reps. All right, we're going to do that. And the first set, we've got at least a couple of reps left in the tank. So do the first set, have 2 reps left. And then the second set comes along. Make sure you take your rest as well, guys. So important to take at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes, or even more on a flat bench press. Because like I said, the aim is to maximum lift heavy weight, perform a heavy intensive set, and as the session progresses, performance will deteriorate. Okay, as you get tired, performance will go down. Okay, so we want to make sure we're aiming for at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes rest between each set. All right, don't cut your rest back. Make sure you do take your rest, because that will affect your nervous system recovery. If you're not resting enough, your nervous system will not be able to recover itself. All right, so you will get fatigued and you will not be able to lift the weight in your second and third set. You'll just get tired. Getting tired means lacking performance. Lacking performance means you'll just have to lift less weight. Lifting less weight means you're not going to challenge the muscle fully. So make sure you lift the heaviest weight possible that you can physically lift, and you don't decrease that weight. Okay, it's best to rest more than decrease the weight. All right, so now moving on to a dumbbell press. We're going to move slightly, increasing the increment from a flat to about a 45-degree angle, just to hit the upper part of the chest. Okay, so we fatigued the lower part, worked it hard. Now we're just going to leave that to rest. Now we're going to move on to that upper part. So we're going to do a dumbbell press. The good thing about dumbbell press is it allows you to really get yourself in a really deep position, slightly different to a bench press. Even though you can lift less load, okay, that's a fact, but you will be able to get in a slightly deeper range, a bit more stretch. Possibly you can change the angle as well. You can do 45 or pronated or neutral. That's a good thing about the dumbbells. You can really get different angles going. Okay, but so for a 45-degree angle, you're going to probably stay around the 10 reps on this one. Okay, maybe 8 to 10 reps on this one. All right, that's where you'd probably want to be on the incline press. So we're going to challenge the incline muscles, really target them. We're going to do 3 sets of 10 reps, with the last set going to failure. And I didn't mention that before on the barbell press, because we don't really want to go to failure on the barbell press. It's not safe. But on a dumbbell press, we want to go to failure on the last set of the incline press, and then we're going to drop the weights down, and that's us fatigued. So do the last set, go past 10 and go to as many reps as you can until you've hit muscular and technical failure. All right, that's really important to do, guys. That's known as an intensity technique. Okay, now moving on to the third chest exercise. This will probably be a plate loaded, or you could do a Smith bench press. Okay, and maybe slightly higher angle, or maybe a 30-degree angle. Now let's go into a plate loaded press. Okay, so really mix it up. So we've got 3 different variations, and variations are really important, guys, to do. You want that variation. So with a variation, it's really important to mix up your variations, because it will throw off the muscle groups in terms of the brain focusing on the chest. It can really like throw it off and keep it guessing. If it understands what the movements are all of the time, whether that's if you're just doing barbell, if you're just doing dumbbell, you won't be able to get that variation triggered on the brain. So we want that plate loaded for the third exercise. So plate loaded, we're going to do probably a slight angle on this one, but we're going to aim to really drive the weights up and squeeze the chest. Okay, we were plate loaded. Okay, again with this one, slightly higher on the reps, we're about 10 on this one, and we're just going to focus on loading up the muscles as much as we can. Even though that they're fatigued, we want to load them up as much as we can. Okay, so that's the third exercise. Now we're going to go into some cable flies. A few different variations here. We can do standing, we can do seated, but I'd probably recommend a seated version. It makes you more stable, and it allows you to really drive and squeeze the chest as hard as you can. Okay, so that is a cable fly. You're going to squeeze the chest. Make sure you don't cross the cables over. Make sure you keep the hands in line with the chest here. You don't want to touch here. You want to squeeze just there. That's the point of tension. And then you don't want to go too far back either. You just want to keep just in line with that shoulder there. Squeeze there. Feel that stretch, and then push back and squeeze just there. All right. So that is a cable fly. You're probably going to stay around 10 reps there. Now we're going to move on to, let's grab some water. If you've got any questions as well, guys, drop them over anytime. I'm really happy to answer any of your questions. If you're a beginner, if you're advanced, anyone at all, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Anyone that needs help, feel free to ask. Now, finish with chest. That's probably chest. We've just done 4 exercises, 3, 6, 9, 12 sets. That's probably about right. I'd say, do that twice a week at the beginning to really get the growth going. Maybe on a Monday and a Thursday, that will be your chest routine. So you've got 24 sets in total throughout the whole week. That should be enough. If you check out Mike Israel's maximum adaptable volume, he will explain how you should be aiming for about 25 sets on chest per week to really get growth that you want. Now we're going to move on to a dumbbell tricep extension. I find this is great from flat, and we're just going to make sure the arm is slightly behind the shoulder, not in line. Okay, so as you bend your elbow, folding your elbow, the dumbbell is just slightly behind you, getting that extension. Okay, and you're going to load up the tricep and just get that extension there, okay, in the tricep. Now, dumbbell variations are great, but triceps, you've got so many different variations, which we're going to explore on the back end of this video. So once you've done 3 sets of, I'd say 8 reps on triceps, remember your triceps are going to be quite fatigued. Even though they're not fatigued in isolation, there's probably a lot more left in them, they're going to be a bit fatigued, so be aware of how much you do load them up. Grabbing the heaviest dumbbells for extensions might not be a great option. So make sure you complete all your reps, and just bear in mind they're probably a bit fatigued from the chest. Okay, so choose the weight right. Okay, and take some time between your chest into your triceps, so maybe have 2 to 3 minutes rest and recover. So once you've finished your dumbbell extensions for flat, then move on to I'd say a close grip bench press. Okay, that would be a good variation, close grip bench press. That's probably what I'd move on to after that. So we're going to get the hands about shoulder width apart, and we're just going to press. And it's a really good exercise to really load up the triceps. Okay, again, don't go too wide because you'll probably work your chest too much. But just make sure you get that close grip there, and you're just working the triceps. Okay, 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps on that one. Last set to failure. Now we're going to move on to dips. A really great exercise, one of my most favourite exercises out there, tricep dips. I've been doing these for years, so I'd recommend getting yourself on a dip machine. Assisted, you can do assisted as well, or free weights, whatever works for you. If you're a beginner, I'll probably say assisted. Okay, and then because you give you a bit of support, and then you move on to unassisted, because it's just a bit easier for your joints when you're doing assisted. It's a bit harder for your joints when you're doing free weight. So 3 sets of 10 reps. So as the triceps getting more tired, as you can see now, the reps are going up from 8 to 10, and they'll possibly finish on 12. So there you have the 3rd exercise of triceps. We're just going to do one more, and that's going to be a kneeling cable tricep extension. I've got a few videos on this, but I will show you. Check out my video on kneeling tricep extension. But make sure you do kneeling, because if you're standing, you can use a lot of your back and spine to just work your triceps, and that's not optimal. You're going to use a lot of your back and your legs and every other muscle group apart from your chest, so your triceps. So make sure you kneel, and as you grip the ropes here. Make sure you use a dual rope if you can. That's a tip for you. Dual rope, 2 ropes. One by holding here, one by the next. Dual rope. They're great, honestly. Versus that single rope, and you're just going to get that sort of internal rotation there of the shoulders. Not great. So we want to get a grip here, and we just want to squeeze down, pushing down, and just bring the hands up to about shoulder height, shoulder here, maybe about shoulder chest, and push back down. Make sure you get that squeeze and get that full extension at the bottom. All right. If you're not getting full extension, you're not going to be able to get the squeeze and contraction. All right. Okay. Now we're going to do actually one more exercise, and that's an overhead extension. Okay. So bring the cables up to the top. Also, just going back to the cables extensions, we're going to do 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps on this one to really get the fatigue. That's a good thing about cables. We really focus on the fatigue. So 3 sets of 10 to 12. Now lift up the rope to the top. Maybe switch it for a bar this time actually. So grab a bar, straight bar, and just going to lunge forward. You can do overhead extension, and you're really going to get the what's called the long head of the triceps. You've got 3 tricep muscles. You've got the long head here, okay, it's all overhead extensions, gets the long head. You've got the short head there, okay, which is all like pushing and close grip pressing, etc., and dips. And then you've got the medium head, which is just at the back there. So 3 tricep heads all need to be worked, guys. Okay, so there you have a chest and triceps exercise. Make sure you stretch off. Full workout there for you guys. Explained why you do that particular exercise from start to finish. Your chest will blow up if you perform that workout as I explained there, and don't muddle that up. Make sure you do have the specific exercises laid out, and you'll really get the gains that you want, guys. All right, so been a pleasure speaking to you about one of my pleasurable workouts that I've done for years. It's been a staple workout for me, chest and triceps. I've done it for years and I've made some really good gains. Now it's your turn to go make some gain, guys. So go for it, guys. And any questions, feel free. I'm here anytime. All right, guys, speak to you soon. Adam Milner, personal training specialist. Bye for now.